So hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how you can create this type of realistic foam effect in Unreal Engine 5 without doing any kind of simulation. So the first thing that you have to do is, like, you can see there is no simulation going on, and this thing is very good for like real-time stuff. So there is no simulation in this foam thing. The thing that you're seeing is just a texture that is moving like this. So yeah, I will just show you how to create this texture in Unreal Engine 5, and it's very easy. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to just create a material first. So you can see I just created a material called water foam. So you can just right click, and then you have to just create a material, and it will be like that, and you can rename that thing. I just renamed it like water foam. And then what you have to do, you have to go to your Chrome browser or any browser, it doesn't matter. And what you have to do, like, you have to search for foam texture. Okay, so when you search for foam texture, you will see something like this. Okay, so you can download anything, whatever you want to download, you can use any textures. So I used this texture, I download this texture, and I use that texture. Okay, you can see there, you have to import that texture in Unreal Engine, and you can see like that. Okay, so the next step, what you have to do, you have to just open your material that you created. For me, I just created this one. So you have to just open, and you will see something like you will not see like this. Okay, you will see just this thing. Okay, water foam stuff. So the first thing what you have to do, you have to just click on that one. You have to go to your blend mode, and you have to make it like it will be default in opaque, something like that. Opaque, I don't know how to call that, how to call these things, but it is like opaque. You have to change it to translucent. Okay, so translucent means like it is using like water shader translucency, like stuff like that. And what you have to do next thing, you have to change the shading model to unlit. Okay, it will be default lit, you have to change it to unlit. Okay, and you have to leave everything like that. And then what you have to do, you have to import your texture. Okay, the texture that you download, you have to import like that. So you can see it's there. And what you have to do, you have to just press M, and then you have to press left click. Okay, to create a multiply node. Okay, so like this, you can see there are two multiply nodes. You can see there, you have to create like that. Okay, or you can just create one, and then you can just press Ctrl C and then Ctrl V to copy this thing. Okay, and then what you have to do, you have to connect this thing to your multiply node, and the second multiply node will be go to A, like that. And then what you have to do, you have to just make connect this thing to your opacity. Okay, and then what you have to do, you have to just duplicate this thing again to this one. You have to just press Ctrl C and Ctrl V, you will duplicate this thing, and then you have to connect this one to B. Okay, multiply. And then what you have to do, you have to just create a gradient exponential. So you have to just click right click, and then you will get something called search bar, and then you have to just write radial, something like that, and you will get a radial exponential gradient. Okay, this node, you will get this. Then you have to just drag drop this thing. I will just remove this for this thing for now. You will get this thing, you have to just connect this thing to point B, like that. And what you have to do, you have to just create a density node. And how to get this one, you have to just press S on your keyboard, and then you have to press left click. So you will get something like that, parameter, a node, and you can name it like density. You can name it, you have to name this thing same because it's easier for navigation. Okay, so you have to just name it like density, and you have to just connect this thing through there. Okay, like that. And what you have to do next, you have to just copy this thing, control paste, and then you have to create this radius node. Okay, like just copy this thing, control C and then control V. And what you have to do, you have to press F2 in your keyboard, and then you have to name it like radius, like that. Okay, and then when you make it radius, what you have to do next, you have to just right click, go to your search panel, and you have to write sine. So you will get a sine node, you can see there. And then what you have to do, I will just remove this for now. You have to just connect your sine node there, and this one to radius. Okay, like that. And then what you have to do, this thing is done properly, and then you have to just move this thing side, and then you have to create a panel node. Okay, so what the panel node do, like it's move your texture. Okay, like in up direction or wherever however you want to move, like that. Okay, it will help your texture to move. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to just right click, and then you have to search for panel. You have to just click on that, you will get something like this. You have to connect this thing to there, and then you have to control C and control paste same node in this one, and then you have to connect this thing to there. Okay, Then there is a append node. Okay, so you have to just search for append, and you will get a append vector like this. And then what you have to do, you have to just control C and control V to make it duplicate. So you will get like this two node. You have to just connect this node two node like this in speed and in speed. And then what you have to do, you have to create a parameter node also. So you can just create, you have to just press 1, and then you have to left click. Okay, you will get something like this, and then you have to right click, and then you have to just click on convert to parameter. So what it will do, it will convert that node into a parameter, and you have to write like x and y like this. Okay, you have to create like that. So you can just control C and control V, make it 2 like this, and you can rename that thing like x and y, and do the same thing for this one, but make sure that you give a little bit separate name for this thing. So just write x and x1 and y1, something like that. Just make it different. Okay, different than that thing. Okay, so if you didn't make it different, then what will happen, like this two will also share. Like if you change something in this default value, it will automatically change in this one. Okay, if you didn't change the name. Okay, so that's how it works. So make sure that you change the name, and you have to just make it like 0.1, and like this one is 0.2. Okay, and yeah, your material is done. You can just save this thing, click on this one, and then apply. Okay, then what you have to do, you have to create a material instance of this one. Okay, you have to just right click, and then you have to go to material instance, and you can see it's created a material instance. And I already created a material instance for me. You can see this is a big foam, and you can see there are three type of material instances. They all are same. I just duplicate this thing for variation because I need a little bit variation in my foam. So you look, there is a lot of variation in it, and yeah, it looks like that. So if the more you give variation, the more realistic it will look. So that's why I just created a little bit variation in this one. And the next thing that you have to do, you have to just go to your place actor option, or if you didn't see this option, then you have to just go to your actor, not actor, like if you go to where it is, yeah, you have to go to your window option, and then you have to click on place actor. Okay, so when you click on that, you will see something like this. And then what you have to do, you have to just write a plane. Okay, you will see a plane. You have to just drag drop this thing like that, and you will see something very small. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to just scale this thing like that. I will make it like 100. So you will see it's become longer. And what you have to do next, you have to just assign your texture. Like if I use this one water foam instance that you created, you have to just assign this thing. Okay, so you can see it created the texture in this one, and it looks like that. Okay, and you can just press R on the mesh, like on the plane, and then you can stretch this thing like that. Okay, so it created like that. Okay, so you can see that there is a direction issue in this one. You can see it's moving like in this direction. So in order to change the direction, what you can do, you can just click on the material instances that you created, and I just make it like this a little bit dark so that I could able to see the viewport. So the thing that you have to change is like this values. Okay, so you have to tick on the everything. You have to tick on everything. Okay, make sure that you tick everything. Do not left anything untick, or else it will not work properly. So tick everything, and then there is an option called density. Okay, so the density will help you to like create the how much density you need in your thing. Like if I increase this thing, you can see it increasing the density. So I will recommend you to use like 0.8, something like that. Just copy these things. Okay, and it will work perfectly fine. And the radius will help to like how much radius you want, like this. Okay, so if you make it so if you increase this thing, like you can see it is touching the corners of the plane, and it doesn't look realistic. So just make sure that you make it like 0.4 or something like that. Then visibility is the how much visible you want to make your foam, like that. Okay, so just make it like 171. And then the XY, this things is for direction. Okay, so if I increase the X thing, you can see it is moving like in X direction. Like the red one is X and the green one is Y direction. Okay, so if you want to make your foam moving in like Y direction, then you have to increase your Y, like Y1. you can increase this thing, so you can see it's moving like in y direction. So you can just play with this settings and you will get a perfect thing for you. So for me this settings are work perfectly fine, and yeah, I use this settings. You can play with these settings and you will get a perfect results. Okay, so the next thing what I did, I will just remove this plane for now. And what I did to make this thing look complex, like I just duplicate the material. Okay, so you can see I use like multiple planes, like plane 1, plane 2, plane 3. You can see it has small planes also, it has like the small planes, it has like big one also. So I just overlap one of them like top of each other so that it looks complex a little bit. Okay, like that. So if I just use one texture like one plane, then it doesn't look that much good. Like you can't get like that complexity of the foam, because in real life foams are very complex. If you see from top or any angle, it doesn't matter, it looks complex. Okay, so that's the things to make it look a little bit more realistic. And in order to make your foam a little bit more poppy, what you can do, you can use a little bit high texture. So I use a very low texture thing. I think I use like 512 resolution for this one. You can use like 2K texture image and more than that one also. It doesn't affect that much performance also because it is not simulating. And yeah, you can pump your texture like up to 4K, but yeah, don't go beyond 4K because it doesn't matter that much also. Okay, so and you can see there there are some textures like some text moving like that. You can see like this. If I show you in slow motion, you can see there is a text. Okay, so I didn't yeah, you can see there it's visible right now. Okay, so make sure that you do not use like um texture that have like text on them. Like if I show you, like you can see there is a text. Okay, there is a text in the texture, so don't use this type of texture. For me, I use this thing because my camera will be so far away, it will be not visible that much, so it doesn't matter for me. But if you're getting some kind of close-up shots, then you need to make your texture like proper. So yeah, just take care of that thing, okay, before doing this type of things. And the next thing that I will tell you is like you can see that I use like different material instances. They are all same. What I did, I just duplicate this thing, just right click and duplicate this thing, you will get something like that. And I just what I did, like I just changed the speed of something. Okay, like I changed the speed of these things, okay, like x and y direction, so it looks like more complex. So if I make something a little bit faster, I make something a little bit slower, I make some textures like move in opposite direction, so it just create that a realistic foam look. And you can do these things also. It doesn't yeah, it makes sense, not sense, like it's make your this thing look a little bit realistic. And I use like three textures. You can see I will just remove this thing, so you can see I just use three material instance. One is for fade, so the fade one is like I use this texture at the end of the like this foam effect, because if I make everything like same opacity, or I would say like same intensity, then the last one will also look the similar to the first one. Because in real life, when you see a foam, then it is disappearing from its back. Okay, like in the back area it is disappearing. Okay, so if I just make the same texture apply to the this last planes, then it looks like they are just continuing the same thing, they are not fading out at the end, so it looks like that. Okay, so that's why I just created a fade thing, and I just decrease the visibility of this thing like this one and density of this thing, and I just slow this thing a little bit down in this x and y direction. And the opposite one is for just the opposite direction. I just put the negative value in this one, so that it could just create some opposite waves. Like if I show you, it is not visible that much, but yeah, there are some waves that are in opposite direction of that thing. And yeah, it just make this thing make the foam not seen look a little bit realistic. And you can see it looks pretty damn good, and there is no simulation in it, and this is very good for real time. And yeah, that's it. But there are some limitation of this thing. Like suppose you want to take so much too much closer shot like in this angle, then you can see there is no 3D geometry. Okay, so it looks just plain. But this method is very good for like this angles. Okay, like this angles, like this top angle, like this, it looks very realistic. Like you see, if I just play this thing, like if I just go, You see, it looks very realistic. Like you can see the foams are disappearing, it moving with the ship. It looks very realistic. Okay, when you use like top view or like something like the side view, or you can like go in this view like that. Okay, so if you go like this, it will not look that much realistic. And yeah, that's the one problem with this one. But yeah, you can solve this thing. I'm trying to solve this thing with some kind of simulation in it, but I didn't get the result quite well by simulation. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do with these things so that I could able to create a 3D geometry stuff or something simulation stuff in this thing. But I'm not quite sure about this. I'm just doing that research, like not research, like I'm finding that thing. So I didn't get any kind of solution right now, but I will try, and if I get something, then I will definitely tell you. For but now I just use this thing. And yeah, the other thing is like in order to pair this thing, like you can see I use like so many planes in this one. So you can see like this one. So in order to make a move with the ship, what you have to do, you have to just select everything, right click, and then there is the attach option. Okay, attach, click on this one, and then you have to search your model. Okay, so for me it was like this ship, so I will just search for like fix cargo. So for me this one is like this one. You have to just click on that one and it will be paired with your model. Okay, so if I just move this thing like that, you can see it is moving with the object. Okay, like that. Okay, so it is just like that. And yeah, in order to animate this thing, what you have to do, you have to just give a keyframe on your ship. I'm not gonna tell that thing because it's quite simple to do. You can watch other tutorial also how to do keyframing in Unreal Engine 5. I'm not gonna cover that thing in this tutorial. But yeah, for this one, I think this is good enough. I think it will help you. And yeah, I also make a one punch live action scene in Unreal Engine, so you can watch that thing if you didn't watch that. And yeah, that's it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching.